الحمد لله الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا إنا خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا آمنت بالله صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent an angel to Bani Israel to test three men. One of these men was suffering from skin disease, another from baldness, from no hair, and another was suffering from blindness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this angel. He went to the first person, the leper, and he asked him what he would like the most. And in response, he said that I would like to have nice skin, good color, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove anything that people despise of me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through this angel, by touching him, then he was removed of that disease of leprosy. He asked him, what animal would you like for sustenance? He said, a camel. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a she-camel to him. And the angel, upon leaving, said, Barakallahu fiha. May Allah give you blessings. Then after that, he went to the person who was suffering from baldness. And similarly, he went to him and asked him, what would you like the most? He said, to have hair and that people would not despise me anymore. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through this angel, he touched him, he was cured. He asked him, what would you like of provisions? He said, a cow. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided that for him. And he said, Barakallahu fiha. May Allah give you blessings. He went to the blind man and he's asked similar questions, and he was cured of his blindness, and he was given as an animal a sheep, a ewe that was pregnant and was giving birth. He said to him after leaving, Barakallahu fiha, may Allah give you blessings. After some time, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave prosperity to these men, and the sustenance increased for them to the point that they had herds of animals, herds of camels, herds of cattle, herds of sheep. The angel came back, now in the form of a beggar. And he came to the first person, the leper, and he beseeched him to help him. Through him first, through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by him as a means of whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed him with. Allah has given you, reminding him a beautiful figure, a beautiful face, beautiful color, etc. Reminding him of these ni'mas. And that person said that at this time I cannot help. And so then after this, the person, he said, aren't you the one who used to have leprosy? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had cured you from this disease. And so happened. He was in denial. He said, no, all of this that you see in front of me, I earned it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I earned this through my own work. And I inherited it from my family. After that, then he said that if you are not telling the truth, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take away all of what He has given. Then after that, he went to the bald person, and the same discourse took place, and the same denial this man was in. That whatever I have got here, I earned it, and it is mine. And then finally he went to the blind person, in which he reminded him of the ni'mas of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He reminded him of how he was helped from being cured by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his sickness, etc., all of these things. And so that man said, take whatever you need. All of this, whatever you see is a ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I am grateful for whatever He has given to me. And so at the end, this angel, it said, I was sent as a test to you. You have passed this test, but your two companions have failed. And so you have been grateful. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless you in your ni'mah. These episodes that happen in life with people are different. Sometimes we are tested in different ways. We are seeing many calamities befall humanity. Sometimes they become personal, sometimes they are things that are far away, that are not dealing with us, but we have concern for them. We talked last week about how we need to realize and actualize these calamities that have befallen the people of Syria, of Turkey, وغير ذلك. And there are so many other masa'ib that come, like we said, they are not new, but they are sent for us with many lessons. Inshallah, in this small time we have, we'll go over some of those lessons that we can learn and the wisdoms and benefits from calamities that befall us. Yes, the wisdoms and the benefits of calamities that fall us. That may be hard for you to fathom. And how can there be any good in this? Remember, we're not those who have this understanding that good is from God, but evil is not from Him. God cannot be evil. God cannot punish people. وغير ذلك. But remember, everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And shar, evil, is also a test for us. This is the proper faith to have, not half-hearted faith. Because you know you are sent to this world with what? As a test. لِنَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا, so that we'll see who's better. Not in quantity, in quality. And to prove yourself worthy as a true person who has faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so, one is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَعِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ لَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا هُ. First of all, we have to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the keys of the unseen. And He knows everything. See, what happens in front of your eyes, you may think right away that this is bad. You may think that this is something that these people were not deserving of. This is something that should not have happened. How evil, how malevolent can something be like this? This is our type of understanding as at the onset of any calamity. However, we have to sit back and we have to take things in as they come. And we have to understand behind what's going on and get a bigger picture of things. Because what we may be seeing as bad is in actuality something that is a great lesson for us, and that we can derive from it huge lessons that will turn our lives around and make us better, sincere, and loyal servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows what is going on in the lands when they shake, when they are nice and settled for us to build our homes and buildings upon, etc. وَفِي الْبَحْرِ, and in the seas as well, all the fish, all of the animals and things living. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has an account of each and every single thing. And He goes even further to say, وَمَا تَسْقُطُ مِنْ وَرَقَةٍ إِلَّا يَعْلَمُهَا. The leaves that drop in the fall, how many are there? Millions, billions of leaves falling. Each is accounted for. Imagine this. And وَلَا حَبَّةٍ فِي ظُلُمَاتِ الْأَرْضِ. Even the grains that come from those seedlings that are falling off the trees and the plants, etc. All of those that go and fall in the darknesses of the night. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even knows that. He's in account of every iota of this universe. وَلَا رَطْبٍ وَلَا يَابِسٍ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. Every green and dry thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has an open account for all of those things. إِنَّ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ السَّاعَةِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows when this world will be taken and destroyed, and the day of resurrection and the day of judgment will come. He knows the hour of that. وَيُنَزِّلُ الْغَيْثِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows, has the knowledge of the rains when they come down. When, where, and how much, and which quantity. Whether it will benefit or not. All of this is in the ilm, in the account of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is in the wombs of the mothers when they conceive. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He forms all of that in the womb of the mother, then after a certain period of time, He sends an angel to tell 4 things about it. That what its amal, deeds will be, and what the ajal will be, in other words, the term of life that is given to it. If it will be sa'id or shaqi, if it will be one that will inherit Jannah, or it will be one that will inherit the hellfire, etc. The term, all of these things, they are written. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has knowledge of all of that. وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ مَاذَا تَكْسِبُ غَدًا. It also, no soul knows what's going to happen tomorrow, what it's going to earn tomorrow. Today, and this is why we are always supposed to give our best in life, in the present. Live in the present. Don't live in the future or the past. Especially people become prisoners and they live in the past continuously and they don't forget about it. Remember, in Islam, what is good, we remember and we recall. What is bad, we make tawbah and we move on. And we don't constantly be engaged in that because we become dysfunctional in our society. We sit like dysfunctional people in our communities and don't do anything. We just start talking and doing these things and that, but there's no functionality in us anymore. And so don't do that. Don't be like those people. And similarly, the future, what it has in store for us, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, that when you come into the evening, don't wait until the morning to do good. Do it right away. See, if you say, I'm going to do it tomorrow, tomorrow will never come. Present, whatever is here, at hand, right away, act upon it. Don't wait. Waiting is a game that is played with our nafs and the shaitan. وَيَعْلَمُ وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ بِأَيِّ أَرْضٍ تَمُوتُ. And no soul knows where they will perish, where they will pass away. إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ خَبِيرٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is knowledgeable of all of this. He is aware of all of this. And so the first concept that we have to understand whenever these calamities fall is the ultimate in the greatness of Allah, the ultimate knowledge and the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge, encompassing everything. And nothing goes without it being accounted for. So what are you worried about? You should be worried about your own self. You should be looking at your own self and thinking, what do I need to do in this situation? How I can please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not tomorrow, right away. And so that's the first thing. Secondly, we realize from these types of situations that as human beings, we need to humble ourselves. We need to learn servitude. We need to learn humility, tawadu'. Man tawada'a lillahi rafa'ahu Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will elevate the status of the person who puts their head down on the floor and does sajda for the sake of Allah. He elevates their status, doesn't diminish their status. And those who do things to seek the happiness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with their intentions, now this becomes a form of worship, of ibadah, because the credit is being given to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And constantly a person is in his obedience and submission. Because Allah, as He says in the Quran, that has not a period of time come upon man when he was nothing. إِنَّا خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ نُطْفَةٍ أَمْشَاجٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that we created humans from the drops of fluid, the mixing of the fluid of the male and the female. And so the mixing of these, the gametes, the egg and the sperm, etc., and then that which forms the zygote inside the womb. All of this is done, and yet we are not thankful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one who created us. We were nothing at a time, and then we came into existence. Who did that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bringing us in, giving us life, giving us that chance to prove ourselves worthy. Nabtalihi, so that He can test us and He can see. And He فَجَعَلْنَاهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا. And He made you a person who hears and gets knowledge through that and sees and uses these facilities for what? To get closer to his Lord, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to become thankful, to become grateful to His Creator. This is how we become humble. When we think of where we came from, when we think of all of this, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كَلَّا إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُمْ مِمَّا يَعْلَمُونَ. Remember, we created him, and we created them, the human beings, from that which they know. And we know our own realities. In actuality, we don't even know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He picked when to create us. We could have been created a long time ago. When we were coming into existence, did you choose it or not? No, we did not. This is all in the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave us this life. He blessed us with this life. And this is why we should never become arrogant, proud and conceited. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't like that, and He addressing them, He says, أَيَطْمَعُ كُلُّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ أَن يُدْخَلَ جَنَّةَ نَعِيمٍ. Does he think that all of these, do the disbelievers think that they're just going to be admitted into paradise so easily? That they can get away with it in this world? No. لَا يَدْخُلُهَا. They will not enter it. And we should remember this verse, إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُم مِّمَّا يَعْلَمُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they know what they were created from, and they should remember. They have ilm of it, so they should keep that constantly in remembrance, so that they can be humble, so that they never grow arrogant and conceited. One time, a Khalifa by the name of Muhallab, one of the sons of the Khalifa, Mutarraf ibn Abdullah ibn Shakhir, he says, رأى المحلب ابن أبي صفرة يتبختر في مطرف خز وجبة خز. This man was wearing nice silken clothes. He had a beautiful shawl on, etc., made of silk, and he was walking in such a style with his nose sticking up in the air. And when he saw him, he said, "How are you walking? Ya Abdullah, ma hadhi al-mishya allati yubghidaha Allah." Are you walking like this, so conceited, so arrogantly, that displeases Him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَمْشِي فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا. Don't walk on this earth like you're going to break the earth with your shoes. What do you think you are? You're full of it. And so when that happens, we have to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this earth is that place where we build upon, where we step upon. We should be humble. Be humble in our walk. And so he said to him this, that how do you walk like this? And he said, أَتَعْرِفُنِي? Don't you know who I am? When people are full of it, they start to get arrogant. And their sayings even, right? They get boastful so much that now it comes out of their words as well. أَتَعْرِفُنِي? Don't you know who I am? And so when he says, yeah, I know who you are. أَوَّلُكَ نُطْفَةٌ مَذِرَةٌ وَآخِرُكَ جِيفَةٌ قَذِرَةٌ وَأَنْتَ فِي مَا بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ تَحْمِلُ الْعَذِرَةَ. That's who you are. The first person, the first stage of who you were is you were a fluid that was filthy. And then after that, you will become a decaying carcass. And in between that, now you are carrying a vessel that's carrying waste. You have solid waste in your body, and you have fluids in your body that are all waste. We know when blood comes out, when urine or stool comes, how our wudu breaks, right? And all of these things. So remember your beginning. Remember where you're going. Remember what you are. Keep yourself humble. Similarly, we learn to turn back and become loyal servants to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during tribulations. This prevents us from persisting in our ways. That smack in the face that you needed to turn yourself around. Yeah, sometimes that's what happens. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He humbles us in ways that we can never think about. And so it's important that when we are going through life, when we go through these experiences, when you are repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you get that sign and turn around, then we must take ourselves out of that environment. If you're still in that environment, you're not sincere. You're just doing the same thing you were before. Get out of that environment. If you're really sincere, if you're really making tawbah to Allah subhanahu, leave the environment. Leave that place where you know you're going to commit sin. That's number one. Acknowledge sin first of all. A lot of us don't even acknowledge that we're doing a sin because we don't have knowledge of it. And we're scared to ask, Oh, Shaykh, what is this masala? Is it, because we know we're doing wrong. If you're doing something unlawful and you are persistent in it, and take the means of gaining knowledge first of all. You need to regularly seek knowledge of what is right and what is wrong. And then once you know it, get out of that environment. Or situate yourself in such an environment where you will be in control of what's going on, at least in aspects of what you can do in aspects of amal. And sincerely make this intention that you will, after having remorse and being sad or being, ashamed of what you have done, you come back to Allah, turn back to Allah. Even if you have to do it 100 times, sadbar agar tawbah shikisti baza. As Rumi said, if you have to turn back 100 times, keep on going back, keep on making tawbah. Allah will keep on relenting. Allah will keep on forgiving you. But it's if you make a sincere tawbah. So one of those aspects is getting out of the environment, acknowledging it, and then having a sense of remorse inside of your heart. And finally, making an azam, a very strong determination that, Ya Allah, I'm never going to go back to that again. Once you do that, and obviously with huquq al-ibad, when it comes to the rights of people, if you've taken something from somebody, you need to give it back, or you reimburse them. So these are those things that we have to do. This is what drives us to do ruju' ila Allah when these things happen. We learn to have forbearance in these afflictions. We learn to have hilm. We learn to have forbearance and patience, enduring things. People who have anger problems, right? They're less in hilm. You have to start understanding what hilm is. That when you have total ability to take revenge on that person or that thing or whatever is the situation, and yet then you control your nafs, that's a strong man. You have now become the strongest person. Somebody asked the Prophet or the Prophet actually he said about the person who is a strong, laysa shadidu bisura. The person is not a strong man or a wrestler who throws people down to the ground. That's not the strong man. إنما الشديد الذي يملك نفسه عند الغضب. You know who the strong man is? The one who can control their nafs, who can control their anger when it's aroused. That's the strong man. The person who can stay calm, who can control, he is the king. He is the person who is the strong man. Similarly, as we already went over last week, being grateful and patient, I'm not going to do more on that. But there's one dua I will leave you with, inshallah. Maybe we can learn that dua, maybe we can keep that dua in mind all the time. As we learn from these calamities to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for afiyah, well-being that's granted from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he used to make this dua, as reported by Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min zawali ni'mati wa tahawwuli afiyati wa fuja'ati niqmati wa jami'i sakhati. He said, "Oh Allah, I seek your refuge and protection from the taking away of your blessings. The blessings that you have given to me, Ya Allah, protect them, continue them, maintain them." And guess what? What's the way to maintain any blessing? The way to continue to have your blessings is to make shukr to Allah, is to continuously praise Allah. When you make shukr to Allah, He preserves that blessing. He prolongs that blessing. He enables it to prosper and be successful. But what do? Oh, it's all me. It's all about me. I earned this. And when it's taken away, then you start crying. So make this dua. That may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from removing and the decline and decrease of your ni'mas and your blessings. وَتَحَوُّلِ عَافِيَتِكَ. And Ya Allah, that you alter and change your granted well-being. You know, when you are healthy and prosperity, you're strong, you can do everything. But when you're sick, what are you doing? Can you do anything? Now you're weak. Now you're vulnerable. Right? This and that. This is why health, extra time that we have, this is a ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We usually become complacent, unfortunately. This is a great sickness. It should never be among us. Never become complacent. Always strive to become a better version of yourself. That you should be better than you are tomorrow. Otherwise, you're in loss. If you're not better, if both of your days are the same, you're in loss. If tomorrow is worse than today, then you're a cursed person. So we need to always strive to become better. We need to always get better each and every day. So we ask Allah to grant us afiyah, to grant us well-being, to maintain that and sustain that, Ya Allah. Because we know when we're weak, when we're vulnerable, and we're tested, where we stand. And so the truth really comes out then. وَفُجَاءَةِ نِقْمَتِكَ. And Ya Allah, your sudden revenge, that sudden event that takes place, that shocks all of us, that thing that happens, that wakes us up from our slumber, right? That smack in the face. Ya Allah, we ask you for afiyah again. We ask you that you give us time. You keep granting us respite, you know? As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you know, especially in regards to the kuffar, like we talked about last week. سَنَسْتَدْرِجُهُمْ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. We do istidraj with them. We keep gradually giving them good, and they keep on getting bigger. Their nafs keeps on growing and growing, and then we seize them. We gave them chance after chance after chance, but they didn't come back. وَمِنْ جَمِيعِ سَخَطِكَ. And also that, Ya Allah, we seek your protection from anything that will make you displeased. And so, in the end, from these calamities that befall us, the believers, they are content with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down upon us. And in that contentment, that means that on the onset of these calamities, they actually start to understand the benefit. They understand the lessons at hand. And they start to realize that what I thought was this and that, there were hidden blessings in it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and tawfiq to come back to Him, especially now we are approaching the month of Ramadan. 3 weeks, a little bit more than 3 weeks. Today is the 4th of Sha'ban. We should be constantly worrying about our situations. How many people, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters, our mashayikh, how many of them passed previous Ramadan and they're not with us anymore. And so we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, give us another Ramadan. Bless us with that Mubarak month. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our deeds and our tawbah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد، فيا أيها الناس اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. قال تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وقال تعالى: فما للذين كفروا قبلك مهطعين عن اليمين وعن الشمال عزين أيطمع كل امرئ منهم أن يدخل جنة نعيم كلا إنا خلقناهم مما يعلمون. وعن ابن عمر رضي الله عنه قال: كان من دعاء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: اللهم إني أعوذ بك من زوال نعمتك وتحول عافتك وفجاءة نقمتك ومن جميع سخطك. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم، ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى، أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك، وصل على جميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. وارض اللهم عن ساداتنا أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي، وعن سائر الصحابة والتابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين. اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. آمين يا رب العالمين. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. هيا على الصلاة هيا على الصلاة هيا على الفلاح هيا على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استووا واستقيموا واعتدلوا. Straighten lines, fill in the gaps. Please silence your cell phones. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى. سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى. سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى. بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والتين والزيتون والطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين الله سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. 2022 year-end tax donation routine. Please sign up using the link in the newsletter. We will be continuing our Friday night program tonight after Isha. English Quran Tafsir will be led by Mulana Adil. Boys Youth Hall will be led by Mulana Adil. Sister Youth Hall will be led by Sister Esma. And Kids Story Time will be led by Sister Sadia Razak. Will be held outside by the fire pit with more. We'll be having a flag football game for boys 15 and up this Saturday, February 25th at 10 a.m. Please see the newsletter to RSVP and for the location. And also, we'll be having a brunch picnic tomorrow for girls 15 and up at 11 a.m. in the ICCL. ICCL Academy will be hosting an open house on Saturday, March 4th, 2023. Registration can be done through scanning the QR code on the flyer. Lastly, ICCL invites all kids ages 2 to 11 for getting ready for Ramadan event where kids will learn more about Ramadan and will also create their own fasting charts on Saturday, March 4th, 2023. We'll also have a preparation event for women the following Sunday, March